welcome to the 5th annual episode. Is it? I guess it's not annual, is it?
No,
I guess it's the 5th
weekly.
episode. Yeah, it's weekly. If we put them out annually, we'd never get anything done.
That would suck for
Or
our
they'd have to
listeners.
be like 80 hours long. So
yeah.
we should do a marathon podcast, a live one. This is the Pixel Chicken podcast. This is the fifth episode. Thanks for tuning in. Today we have Stryker and Philip here. How you guys doing?
Doing good?
Doing good. Just today, though.
Just
We're not
today, we have no special guests as of as usual. Fuck everyone who wants to be on this show. There's at least 100 of them. I've counted. I don't know about you guys. So today we're going to kind of be doing something a little different. We're going to, since this is our 5th episode, I know we've been talking about this, we're going to go down our top 5 game series. Now this is games that have been serialized. There's been more than, obviously, I think that speaks for itself. But I want to be clear, these are our opinions. We're not saying this with any authority over anything. We're just saying that this is what we hold as our top 5 game series. So I figured, why don't we just kind of go one at a time and go that way?
Okay.
Phil, I want you to go first.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No.
With
So,
my
yeah.
top 5?
No, I want you to go with one of them, and then
I
we'll
see
rotate.
where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
All right.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hit me with one of them.
All right, so the 5th is going to be the Batman Arkham franchise.
Okay.
Yeah, when a developer
pretty recent.
When a developer has the time to make a game, when they have the time to make a game, we were talking about this, I think last week, maybe the week before. Then there are results. You know, licensed games, they usually don't have a very good reputation. But every now and then, you know, there's a game that comes around based off a property and it's of high quality. You know,
That's the damn truth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, I don't think I'll forget the end of the first game. There was so much.
Wasn't the end of the first game shitty? I
No,
thought.
the end of the
There was so much anticipation and so much when you're finally going down that hallway.
Yeah,
and
but
seeing
didn't
the Joker
turn into a fucking hulking beast, which was like.
Yeah, he got on Venom, but
I
I
didn't
didn't
like
find that as
the-
shitty.
the
Worst
end where he
game.
carries the Joker out and lays him on the cop car, right?
That's the second one.
Okay, yeah, that ending I thought was stupid.
Well, I just every time now. So I've never finished any 3 of those games. I think they're great, but every time I hear of the Joker, and this is a sentiment that I've heard other places, but I tend to agree with it. Every time I've hear about the Joker, essentially, what was it actually called? What was the thing that he actually used to become that hulking beast?
Venom.
Yeah, when the Joker takes the Venom and becomes a monstrous bruiser, that goes so against what he is as a villain in the fiction. I think because usually he's a super like cunning like mind game villain, and to make him just a huge hulking, you know, behemoth, I just feel goes against the Joker's strengths as a villain. I don't know. That's just the way I feel, though. Obviously,
It's an idea that they would have probably used during the 90s.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
But for a video game, it probably wouldn't have worked out in the comic book. But for a video game, and River, I think your argument's completely valid. But I think it works for a video game. You know.
yeah. Okay. I just like I never got to play the fight, so I don't know if it's well designed. I just thought it would. I think it might have been cool to have, you know, some those games, you know, are super well made and crafted. It might have been cool to instead, you know, have the final encounter with him be something more cerebral and like, you know, out of the box. You know, there were so many like the Scarecrow situations
Definitely.
were super memorable because they were so outlandish and played into the villains.
Yes,
Strong.
that was amazing.
Yeah, they played into like the villains' gambits, right? And to throw out the Joker's, you know, kind of main way of fucking with Batman, I felt it felt kind of
Maybe
egregious
you
to
would
me.
maybe you would like the ending of Batman Arkham City better then.
Yeah.
I thought the ending of Batman Arkham City was pretty stupid, personally.
Okay, go ahead. Explain.
I just thought that it was so the ending is he just now Phil, I'm not saying at all that these should not be on your list or arguing
Yeah,
against
no.
anything like
Yeah,
this.
no, but
Absolutely
please,
not.
please.
I just want to say I have some feelings about the Arkham games, and I loved the first one. There's a few things that I am not a big fan of with the Arkham series. Is that for one, I don't like that they always find a story device to hold the game within the walls of like a crazed, you know, overrun by villains society. And
I
it
see
seems
what you're
like it's
talking
just
about.
it seems like it's just a cheap kind of cop out. In the first game, it worked because you're in Arkham Asylum. You're on an island. You're isolated. You're alone. And in the second game, they found another way to make it within this part of the city, which makes no sense. They just fucking cage off part of the city and have villains overrun it for whatever reason. And then they do. It seems like they're kind of doing something similar with the new Arkham Knight, which I'm so super stoked about, and I love
Yeah.
these games.
Yeah.
My main gripe is some of the story elements and the character design. I'm not a huge fan of, to be honest with you.
I think it has to do with the fact that I don't know, maybe they don't want to put any like civilians in the building or in
Which
the
is
street.
that's my problem. I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
part of the
I agree.
the lore and the great thing about the Batman comics and the movies and stuff is him dealing with saving civilians, and he's doing it indirectly by not letting villains, you know, overtake the rest of the city or, you know, foiling their plan to do whatever. But it's not taking place in the Arkham as we know it and as we love it in the Batman series, and they always find some way to do it, and it just seems cheap to me. And my problem with the end of the second one was pretty simple. I just thought it was just way too melodramatic and kind of almost like kind of corny in a way. I just thought for him to carry out the Joker and then just lay him on a cop car and then you're done with it. And it's like it was alluding to this painting that you see at some point in the game of was it Cain and Abel or something like that? And
I don't
there was
recall that.
I never
there
even
was
played City, so
there was a painting in someone's office of Cain and Abel, and he's doing the same thing that you do at the end of the game, and I get that, but I just don't think that it works for Batman and Joker. It didn't make sense to me. I thought it was just too far off from the characters as I see them, and from reading, you know, several Batman stories and comics and the movies, and I just wasn't a big fan of it. And I'm not a huge, like I said, I don't like the character design in the series. Some of the villains I thought were really well done, Scarecrow and Joker and stuff, but they just made it. I felt like they made too many characters into like these hulking, like Bane, for example. And I know that Bane's portrayed that way in certain comics and stuff, but that's my least favorite portrayal of Bane because he's supposed to be a mental match to the Batman as well as a physical match. He's not just a giant mindless drone.
Yeah.
Who's a
and that's why I mean they did it so well in the movie.
Yeah, and I like that better, and they did the same, and even like
well, it makes for
we all like Dark Knight
more,
Rises, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we need to fight for that movie because there are people that passionately hate it.
I fucking love. I thought
me too.
There's some. I mean,
yeah, but it
I liked it a
I
lot.
liked it a lot.
Me
And that's
too.
I think that's a much more interesting interesting villain as someone who is,
Yeah.
because you're going through the whole game fighting hulking, huge buff
Exactly.
guys, and then to just throw a bigger one at you is not very interesting.
Yeah, and now that's just my opinion.
I will say,
Yeah,
though, I haven't beat Arkham Origins, but I did
I didn't
play
even play Arkham Origins because it
the
was
boss fight between with Deathstroke. It's actually a very good boss fight, and I hear that
That's
the
what I've
rest
heard.
of the boss fights are a vast improvement.
Huh.
Yeah, I've heard
All right.
the Deathstroke stuff in Arkham Origins is good, but the rest of it's kind of not so good because it was not Rocksteady.
So
that developed
inspired.
it. I
In the next game, which I'm happy.
yeah, which is exciting.
Is the Arkham Knight a thing in fiction?
Not well. Really, they've kind of built sort of their own universe within this. The
Is it
video
supposed to be
franchise.
an actual thing though, or is it just a play on words or a story? Because
No,
I kind of remember hearing people talking about the Arkham Knight as if it was a
I've never heard of
character or something. I don't know.
I've never
I haven't heard of it
Okay.
until I
I just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, or until I heard of the game. But,
I think
yeah,
the overall quality of the games is great.
Oh
And
yeah,
don't
absolutely.
Don't get me
and
wrong.
that fucking
about that,
combat
because-
system.
Yeah, the combat system, and I think that the small scale stories that are told through side missions and stuff like that, and little nods to the series and stuff, I think that is way better than the actual overarching main story.
Yeah.
I think like some of the side missions, like where you're answering the phones and trying to track down the one guy, the serial killer guy. You know what I'm talking about, Phil? The little side mission, and I think it's in Arkham City. It is in Arkham City where you
trying down
trying to-
Hush.
Yes, Hush, and that I love that stuff. I think that's just outstanding and
I
perfectly
remember really liking the Riddler like puzzles in Asylum.
yeah, I like those.
Or you
too.
had to, yeah.
Those are-
And, people could also make the argument that this would be a good game even without Batman.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was actually going to say that, but then I started thinking about it. A lot of the gameplay elements, a lot of the things that are a part of the game, I mean, they come from being inspired by the character and the universe itself.
Yeah, but I think it would still be a good game without Batman. I don't think that.
Yeah,
I don't think
sure,
the
but-
character.
The character itself does play a part in the quality of the game because
Oh yeah, I mean, that's for
because
sure.
because of the creativity the whole universe and the character gave the developers. So I think that
Sorry.
I was going to say I think that there's a little bit of both. The answer really, I think it's both.
I think possibly when people say that, what they're trying to say is that it's not necessarily just a good superhero game. It's
Yeah,
it's just a great
good
game in general,
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
which I agree with. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Well, good first one.
yeah, I like that pick.
Yeah, Strikey, you want to go?
Sure. Let's see. So my list isn't in order.
I don't know if
I'm
we're.
gonna
I
try and
don't
do
know
that.
if I'm enumerating them either.
Yeah, that to me is just going to be that's. Just
Phil, you
too
can
much.
if you want, but fuck you if you do.
Yeah, it's kind of rude.
You're off your rocker.
You just want me to go to 4?
No,
Do whatever you want.
I'm
You-
saying I'm saying I don't think we're numbering them in terms of
Ranking.
Oh, really? Because I actually put a lot of thought into numbering them, you bastards.
Well, you're better than us. That's why.
Yeah.
Damn
You can. Please do. Please
Okay.
do.
And this, I know what my number 1 pick is forever,
Yes.
but anything before number 1, it could switch around and change through time as time goes by. But currently, this is my list.
Of course. Don't say it. Don't fuck up
Yeah.
everything.
I won't.
Okay. Striker, hit me with it.
Okay, so I am gonna, however, start with lower picks on my list, the ones that
Yes.
wasn't quite as passionate about as some of the later
Yeah,
ones. but-
yeah.
I'm gonna go with the NBA 2K series.
Okay.
Now I figured that nobody else would pick a sports series. And
Wrong.
That's that. And if you I'm completely wrong, and that's okay. But I wanted to pick the NBA 2K series because it's always been since the very first one came out, they started an uphill battle, and that's what I love about this series is they have survived for so long strictly because of the outstanding quality of the games. And they started off the NBA 2K series. It was a Dreamcast exclusive, so that was an
What year? What year is it released?
2K. So
Yep.
2000.
So did this? let me ask you something. Did this start alongside the NFL 2K series? Or was this?
I can't remember if NFL 2K was the following year, but I'm pretty sure it was the exact same year as well.
So because I know NFL 2K was a Sega thing, and this did this start as a Sega thing, and then transfer?
Yeah, it was a Dreamcast exclusive, and so it was fighting an uphill battle against the dominant NBA Live series that had been around for much longer.
Yeah.
And it was on a console that maybe not a lot of people had anyway. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until, I believe it was NBA 2K2 was ported to the Xbox and maybe the PS2, I don't remember. I think it was just the Xbox, and then 2K3 as well. But the series was well regarded by fans. Maybe not as many people played it, but the people that did play it loved it, and it became a bigger thing than it started out as, much bigger, and now it's pretty much completely dominated the.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much undisputed.
I'm sure that.
I mean, who fucking buys Live?
Well, it doesn't even come out anymore. So
didn't one come out like last year?
Yeah, last year was the first year they actually came out. But NBA 2K is now considered not only the best basketball game, but possibly the best sports.
It probably is
series.
Honestly.
There is other. Maybe some people would argue FIFA.
I mean, NFL 2K was the best fucking football game.
It was incredible. It was also very well regarded.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fortunate they don't make them anymore.
Yeah.
There's stuff in NFL 2K5, I believe it was, that still is better than some of the.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
Striker, was NBA Jam a worthy adversary?
No.
I know. It was supposed to be sarcastic.
Didn't come across sarcastic, man.
Oh.
No, it didn't. It came across like a real.
Yeah.
No, he was supposed to be funny.
It was hella funny.
The NBA Jam series is fun, but there is not.
Wasn't there a new one
that's not
recently?
the same mark.
It didn't last. Wasn't
there a new one like 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 years ago. But yeah, it was fun. But that's mine, and the NBA 2K series. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, man. Well, let's stay on sports games, I guess. I'm going to start out with NFL Blitz.
Ooh,
all right. I fucking love Blitz. I always have. I don't know if either of you are aware of just how much Blitz I've played.
How much Blitz do you play?
I've probably played like 100 hours of NFL Blitz. Between like Blitz 2000 is the one I play most. I still play it on my computer and shit. But
followed closely by Blitz the League. I
actually never played that, but from what I hear, it actually was kind of interesting.
It was pretty fun.
Was it?
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
How much? Oh man,
I thought that the
you could take drugs, right?
Yeah, you could do shit like that, but the gameplay was fun. I remember
the actual football game was.
Yeah, I had someone that brought it over, and my older sister and I played it, and it was the gameplay is pretty similar. It's still real arcadey and stuff, but grittier.
Yeah.
And there's all teams, and we actually had a really fun, close game where she fucked up a field goal at the end, and I took it back for a touchdown and won the game. And I remember that very well.
Blitz is really good at creating really, really tense games because it uses rubber banded AI. So to try to keep games close, if someone is blowing someone out, the game will work in the loser's favor. That's an actual thing. But I have that is, I don't know. It's just fun. It's just you can sit there. It's quick paced. It's like there's not much strategy, but there's a lot you can actually learn to do and get actually effective. And like I can usually take most people out, just because I've read a Wikipedia page on how to be good, and there's like 3 things you have to do to be good, and that's always pick safe cover on defense, always, and tackle the receivers immediately. So he can't, because there's no run. There's really running is not an option really in that game. So
I like it.
Yeah, and I've never been more mad at a game than the last NFL Blitz that came out on 360. I played a lot of that online, and I've never been more angry at a game than that game when I was losing. Something about it rubbed me the wrong way, man. And I could have easily gone to jail off that game.
Oh man.
Yeah, I got pretty violent, and I'll be honest, I wanted to lynch Phil a couple times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've had that reaction.
Well, I mean, it's an easy one to have. So.
All right, number 4.
Yeah, go for it, Phil.
Yeah,
Okay.
hit us up, Phil.
This one, it's kind of an interesting selection.
I like it
So-
already. I like the way it sounds.
I like it.
So-
I'm in.
What I went for was
Count
the
me in.
Rockstar franchise.
What?
Yeah. Now, just
What?
yes,
The Rockstar franchise?
yes.
As far as every game that Rockstar makes?
Every game
As
that
in,
I've
like-
played by
As
Rockstar.
in Bully and table tennis and...
I haven't
Tennis.
played Bully. No. Now, just hear me out.
Okay.
And the reason why I picked this was because I feel like almost every game has been sort of a progression over the last. Like, did you know that? I haven't played Manhunt, but apparently the graphics engine for Manhunt, it was sort of like a test run for what they would later use for GTA 5, right?
I hated Manhunt.
I didn't play Manhunt. I'm sure it's a terrible game.
No, people like it. I just
I mean it's generally warmly regarded.
Anyway, I just feel like as if, I mean, you can make the argument that perhaps Red Dead Redemption takes place in the same universe as GTA. I'm sure that somewhere along the lines they'll come around and say that it doesn't, because I mean, look, they say that the GTA 6 or GTA 5 and 4 have nothing to do with the first 3 games. But I mean, it's very easy to come to that conclusion. I feel like
The first 3 games being 1, 2, and London.
yeah, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Or do you mean Vice City 3 and San Andreas?
Yeah.
They call Vice City. They call 3 Vice City 3. They
what?
call Vice. Okay. They called Vice City 3 and San Andreas a part of a different era. But my point is, I feel like all these games are a part of the same progression.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. You know,
Yeah.
most of them. They're always big on ambition.
I
scale.
understand that, yeah.
Yeah. It's come such a long way since the original, the very first game. I mean, these guys, you can make the argument that these guys are responsible for that open-endedness.
Well, they are. I mean, GTA
Yeah.
3
Oh, yeah.
was the first of its kind.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was a massive moment in video games is when that came out, and because there's never been really, at least on consoles, really an open sandbox like that too.
In
Just
Red
go
Dead
and fucking
Redemption
do whatever you want.
is arguably GTA 5 or Grand Theft Auto on horses, and that's completely okay because it works like a charm, right? I mean, and they always have for the most part they have quality writing.
Well, they have fantastic writing.
Yeah, quality storytelling.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely, and they're really great crime dramas from L.A. Noire to Max Payne. And,
now LA Noire was not developed by Rockstar.
oh, it was not,
No, it was Team Bondi,
Bondi,
or
yeah.
Bondi.
but Rockstar published it.
Yeah.
Yes.
now. Yeah, and that team
and
is
supposedly, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure they supported him, but that team is no longer with us.
Oh, really? What happened?
They all slaughtered by an elephant.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the director of that studio was a real dirtbag, and they disbanded. So.
Oh, really? They just said, "Fuck this guy," huh?
Yeah, that's the
What
only.
happened? Tell me about it. Tell me the story.
I don't even remember.
I don't know the story. There's a lot of controversy about their working environment.
Yeah.
And how it was horrible.
Yeah, it was really it was bad, and I think a lot of it stemmed from the creative director. So that's the only game you'll ever see from them, and maybe I'm guessing that's the only time we'll ever get to see that awesome technology that they had in that game. So
that's kind of sad, but well.
Yeah, it is kind of sad because it was a super unique game and like super ambitious, and
maybe it's one and only gem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But I can see your sentiment here.
Yeah, I wanted to say Red Dead Redemption, but I've only played one game in that franchise. You see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Red Dead Revolver was completely
Red Dead
different.
Revolver was a far cry from Redemption.
Yeah.
It was a Capcom game, in fact. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I hear you on that. I was skeptical at first, still kind of skeptical, but I'll accept it.
I get it.
I get it.
Fuck it. It's your list.
Yeah. Fuck you, Philip. It's your list.
All right.
Striker.
Yes.
Proceed.
Okay. So now I really hate to do this, and I
hate that you're doing it.
I have a tie for my 4, and I'm sorry. But fuck it. It's my list.
Fuck it.
Mine is a tie between the Tom Clancy series and the Fire Pro Wrestling series.
Holy fuck. I could not.
The Fire Pro Wrestling series?
Yes.
Fuck yeah, Phil.
Okay, well, I've never heard of it. Go ahead and explain it for me.
Well, Phil, most have not. And that's
I have.
The charm of the Fire Pro Wrestling series. They're made by Spike, and they are
Spike Lee.
2D, yes, they're a Spike Lee joint. They are a 2D wrestling series, they have multiple, I mean, we're talking dozens, sometimes hundreds of different wrestlers that are based on real wrestlers, but they don't have the licensing, so they change small things about them. Same with the stables and the actual federations and stuff like that. But basically what they are is a fully editable and customizable wrestling experience. And
I've seen you play this game. I think I know what you're talking about. It's an indie, right?
It's what?
It's a port?
A what?
It comes from a different country.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Some of them do, and there were some that were released in America as well.
Specifically, the Xbox Live Arcade title, Fire Pro Wrestling.
Oh God! But they are the thing I love most about them is that they're just a labor of love. They're a fan service thing. All they do is just add. I mean, it's almost like they just give you a toolbox to make your own wrestling game and say, okay, you're free, go do what you want. I mean, there's a thriving online community that releases game saves with different eras of wrestlers, different years, different time periods, and so on and so forth.
You know what this sounds like to me?
What?
This sounds like the Mugen of wrestling games.
Yeah.
But quality. Obviously of quality.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I guess I see what you're saying with that. But it's really high quality, and there's all kinds of editable things down to the referee himself. You can edit different refs and stuff like that, and it's just great because they don't try and do too much. Now I say this: the series hasn't had a game if you don't include the Xbox Live Arcade title since like 2006 or 7.
Yeah.
But they had a great run of games, and they never tried to do things that would upset fans with it. All they did with each iteration is add more stuff that fans would love. They didn't try to go mainstream with it. I mean, not a lot of people other than hardcore wrestling fans for the most part have heard of it, and they all love it, and it's just a very well regarded and great series. And the fact that I can still play it to this day, having it be 2D and have a ton of fun, and is a testament to how
Isn't the combat system incredibly complex too?
Oh, it's very deep. Yeah, there's tons of moves for each guy. It's very very
a lot
deep.
of contextual, like movements, like coming from the back or a lot of that kind of positional, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. There's a lot of that stuff, and that's why I love it so much. And then the Tom Clancy series, I was thinking about.
Are we including all Tom Clancy games, or are we talking about Splinter Cell?
I'm including the Tom Clancy series as an overarching.
Okay.
Rainbow Six,
yeah,
Splinter Cell, so on and so forth.
Okay. And is Advanced Warfighter in there for you?
No.
Okay.
I didn't play it very much.
Okay.
But now I know these are all different. These are a lot of different studios involved, different, different.
Fuck it, it's your list, man.
But I think that I was trying to pick because I love the Rainbow Six series, and then I love the, some of the Splinter Cell games, not all of them, but I love a few of them. And then I thought to myself, well, you know what? They're both Tom Clancy games. Tom Clancy is a name that's stamped on these games, and they're all pretty high quality. Some more than others, but none of them are terrible games, really.
No, what's your favorite Splinter Cell? If you had to pick one.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I have really fond memories of this first Splinter Cell.
It was. That was another kind of groundbreaking moment.
I think Chaos Theory was probably.
That's what I was going to say too.
The best quality, just front to back. It was.
Yeah, that was a really fantastic game in every aspect.
I didn't play the recent Splinter Cell game, but what do you feel about Conviction?
Are you talking about Blacklist or Conviction?
Yeah,
because Blacklist was the most recent one.
Yeah, I'm talking about Conviction because I didn't play Blacklist.
Conviction, I liked it. I thought it was I liked it. I wasn't as down on it as maybe some of the other people who loved and thought.
It was barely the same game.
Yeah, it was very different.
It was much more action oriented, fast paced. I had a lot of fun with it though.
Yeah, me too.
I did too.
I thought that the last known position mechanic was really smart because you could kind of play with enemies that way and in different ways than you're seen or you're not. It's so that caused a little more dynamic problem solving when you are spotted. So I can agree with that. It's a good 2.
That's it.
I'm not a motherfucker, so I only picked 1 for a spot.
I am a motherfucker.
We all are at some point, especially Phil.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
I've got badass motherfucker on my wallet right now.
On your wallet?
Oh yeah.
Do you really?
Really?
Are you just pulling a Pulp Fiction reference into this?
I'm pulling a Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I imagined you with a wallet with flames on it that said "badass motherfucker," but I guess that's not the case, and that's kind of sad. Banjo fucking Kazooie.
Ooh, fuck.
Okay.
I like it.
Banjo fucking Kazooie. I don't think I even need to say anything else.
No, I
yeah.
Out of here.
That's it?
Peace. Yep, we're done for today.
Call it quits.
35 minutes. That's it. Banjo fucking Kazooie. Those games are so good. I'm absolutely including nuts and bolts because fuck people who don't like nuts and bolts. They are shitty people. They are not. They are not good in my eyes. Everything about these games I love. I love the music. I love the fucking music. I love Jinjos because they're cute as shit. And I love fucking farting eggs.
Ooh.
I love Mumbo. and his mountain, because he will turn you into a washing machine sometimes, and that's always a delight. I just love everything. Have either of you played any of these games?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Fuck, Philip, what are you doing?
I rented Banjo
Oh,
Kazooie
Christ.
when I was young.
Ah! Oh, man, I don't know what to do now.
No, just emphasize on it. I haven't played the wrestling game either, man.
I know. I feel bad for you because these are literally they're my favorite like 3D character platformer of all time.
Oh, nice.
There's just it holds a real just childlike, it just makes me happy to play them, and the challenges are expertly crafted in the way that you have to. They give you just enough hints that they force you to solve what to do. Because they give you this whole world, and there's 8 or 9 jigsaw puzzle pieces around, and they don't tell you how to do them. It's not like in Mario when there's a level select, and then you pick the star you do, and there's 1 star, and they kind of show you how to do it. They just give you an open world, and there's these 8 jiggies in the world, and you have to solve the puzzle of how to get these, and they're vastly different. Some you have to race, some you have to. They're just all these goals are always so different and level specific, and that's one of the main draws. And also Nuts and Bolts. I think Nuts and Bolts might be the best in the series, honestly. A lot of people hate it, and I don't understand why. Because that game inspired creativity in me, unlike any game ever has. And I don't know if you remember, Stryker, when I had you come in and play.
Oh yeah,
a specific,
I remember very well.
A specific challenge where you have to build a vehicle to knock down a certain amount of dominoes that were very large, and I tried this for probably 2.5 hours until I got the actual right the right combination of pieces to effectively knock down all those dominoes. And one of the beautiful things about it is you can completely break that game. It'll let you break the game. There was a mission where you had to protect a certain character while he runs through the game world. And it starts you out, it's like, hey, here's the recommended vehicle for that, but you can always, edit and create your own vehicles. And so it starts you out with this car with like a couple guns on it. And I was just I could not finish this challenge. So I said, this fucking sucks. And I went and I just built a huge fucking box with wheels. And I just put the box on top of the dude so literally nothing could get to him. And it like if you're on a ground race, there's absolutely nothing to stop you from putting wings on your car and fucking just flying through the world and winning the race that way. The game allows you to break it, and it doesn't put restrictions on your creativity. If you can find a better way to do,
I think it almost encourages it. Honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can find a better way to do the challenge, because all the challenges work with the pre-built. These are obviously tested challenges, and they work with the pre-built vehicles that they give you. But if you really want to succeed in the game, go in, do something crazy with the vehicle creation, and it'll pay off. And it's really super rewarding when you try something out of the box and finally figure out the perfect way to game this game. So
do something crazy, Phil.
Yeah, do something crazy.
You can if you want. Nuts and bolts.
Yeah, you can. You could build a motorcycle with eight engines, and it'll be completely impossible to drive.
And very top heavy.
Yeah, it'll probably just fall over actually because it's all physics based. So you can't really do anything you want. It's just not the way the world works, man.
Yeah.
I don't mean to bring you down. I just, giving you too much hope that you can build a box with wheels on it. It's pretty tough to do, actually. But yeah, that is Banjo-Kazooie for me. Philip, how about you? You hit us with one.
Okay.
Number 3. Number 3. Number 3. Uh-oh.
3.
Uh-oh.
All right. Uh-oh. Okay. I'm going to say Prince of Persia.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a really good choice.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
I didn't even...
That makes me sick to my stomach that I didn't pick that.
It's
I
been
had
so many years since I played it, but it left such an impression on me.
Now,
I like that.
okay, are we talking about Santa Time, the Two Thrones, and the Warrior?
Yeah, I'm talking about like the franchise,
the PS2 games.
Yeah.
There was that reboot that was different, and
That was different, and it was very. I never finished it, but I thought it was a
I
very
really liked that game.
I did too.
Game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't I couldn't agree more. I loved those games. They were so sharp and like a good combination between like God of War and like Tomb Raider. A lot of environmental puzzles and that kind of shit.
They
predate
innovated
Tomb Raider,
on-
or it does predate God of War.
They
I know.
innovated the whole kind of platforming with kind of free running elements stuff.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, they completely innovated that, and it was a really awesome system, and it made
Yeah.
platforming fun and dynamic.
I mean, I just couldn't get over how cool it was to run up a wall and jump off of it and then slash the guy from behind.
Yeah, the combat system that they had was really free flowing and worked with the mechanics of the overall game. So yeah, I mean, you could run up a wall, flip behind a guy, and cut his throat. And they
were also very different from each other. I think the first game was sort of different. I think when it comes to content, I think the first game was rated teen.
It was,
the next
and
two rated M.
Yeah, they got really fucking brutal.
I kind of myself preferred the Sands of Time to that feel and that theme to the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like when they just tried to make it too gritty and dark. I felt like that's what everybody.
I think the combat paid off.
And
I think the combat was vastly better in the Warrior Within and Two Thrones.
I do like the fact that I think that this lighting play as much of a role in the second game as the first one.
I don't remember, honestly.
It
What kind of role did it have in the first one?
Yeah, I don't even
It's
remember
it's just one of the first games to really emphasize on it. They have a lot of lighting,
Yeah.
like dynamic
A lot of
lighting
thought
and
into it.
stuff. Is that?
Yeah, whatever lighting. Yeah.
Little side note, way off topic. I finished Shadow of Mordor a couple days ago, and while I was watching the credits, they were going through graphical artists, and it got to shadows, like the people who were working on the shadows. There was like 55 people
Oh wow,
just on shadows.
man,
was crazy.
there's a lot of detail there.
I had no clue. I was like, what the fuck is going on? It was like way more than any other department. It was a bizarre thing. Anyways, yeah, I mean, I don't remember much honestly about the story or anything. I just remember having so much fun with the kind of parkour style combat that they crafted, and really, using
And the ability to turn back time was really
yeah,
cool too.
yeah. That was
Yeah.
one of the first like games that really kind of used that, those kind of mechanics to manipulate time and that kind of stuff. I think obviously that got better as games have progressed, but that was. I mean, I can't really think of a game before that at least that I played that kind of used a time mechanic like that, and you see it all the time nowadays. But that was kind of the first one. Never finished any three of those games. I always got really far, They had
really?
they had like kind of like a Dead Space quality for me in the sense that I fucking couldn't stand to play them because they stressed me out. I loved them. Like, I love playing Dead Space because it's a great game, but it stresses me the fuck out to play it.
Because it's hard, because it's terrifying.
I mean, because it's hard. It's so we had this discussion about PT and Resident Evil 4. I don't think Resident Evil 4 is a scary game. I think it's a terror to play because it is so stressful and resources are low and enemies are high and they are strong, and that's what makes those games a harrowing experience for me. They're not necessarily scary in the sense that PT was, or even that some of the Silent Hill games are.
So what was it about the Prince of Persia series that was like that? Like
I think just like I always felt like I was one, like I don't know if the Prince was too fragile for me or if I just wasn't very good at it, but I always felt like I didn't either have enough, sand or health, or there was too many enemies. It was just I don't know.
They were difficult games.
It just had one of those qualities that was difficult and stressful for me to play. But I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because I love Dead Space. I finished 1 and 2, so.
I will say that on a closing note for Prince of Persia, I feel that the third game and the ending, it wraps up that trilogy pretty decent.
Is that the Warrior Within or the Two Thrones? Which one's the third one? Okay, yeah. I don't think I played that one very much at all. I played the shit out of the first two, though. So, well, very cool.
I remember playing it at your house. I think it's the first time I ever got my hands on it.
You take my game, man?
No, well, I played it at your house.
Yeah,
I was like, sweet, it's got Godsmack in it, and then I hated that song.
What?
Later on.
Prince of Persia had Godsmack in it?
Oh yeah, Prince of Persia 2 had Godsmack in it. When the monster that's chasing you throughout the game appears, when the monster that is chasing you throughout the game shows up, then you get the da 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 da, the standalone song.
I don't remember that in the slightest.
I really don't like that at all.
I really miss the early 2000 era PS2 games that had shitty alternative rock bands and like weird tie-ins. Like, I don't know if you guys remember PsyOps.
I remember. Yeah, and it had a music video.
Yes,
wasn't it?
It had a music video for what was the band?
I have PsyOps.
Cold.
I can look right now.
It was Cold,
Oh,
I think.
Cold, yeah.
Yeah. And there's that
girl.
Yes, yeah, and they were all fucking over it. And it's so weird, and like I think like probably Spider-Man 2 had something like that as well, I think. I don't know.
I never really liked Godsmack very much, but I never had anything against them.
Godsmack?
They do not belong in a Prince of Persia game.
No, they absolutely do not. I like Godsmack.
Godsmack.
Yes.
I like that better.
I do too. I would listen to them way more than I would listen to Godsmack. I don't remember them being in that game at all, but that's upsetting to me.
Yeah, me too.
On another side note, do you know what happened with Godsmack once?
No, okay. I don't.
Okay, so the recent album, they were desperate to wind up on like Nikki Sixx's radio program.
Okay.
And they have a lot of beef with him. They have a lot of bad history.
Yeah.
And Nikki Sixx basically told them
to
go
radio
fuck
program.
themselves.
Mm-hmm. It's great.
I've heard it, but anyway, Nikki Sixx told them to go fuck themselves, and then he went on a huge rant, just bashing, just tearing them apart.
Good for him.
Because they
suck, and he sucks too.
Yeah. Well, they're successful. They made their mark, and that's fine.
Did they make their mark though?
Yeah.
Godsmack?
No, Motley Crue.
Oh, okay, all right.
Nikki Sixx. Right. I mean, I'm not a Motley Crue fan, but
I thought you meant Godsmack, and I was like, Godsmack didn't really do much.
No.
Anyways, Philip, is that you pulling the duct tape off your prisoner's mouth?
No, that wasn't me. That was probably Striker.
So what happened with that prisoner?
Yeah.
Did he it or?
Oh, he's actually asleep right now.
You're letting him sleep?
Yeah, I'm letting him sleep. Oh yeah, he likes to be scratched under his neck.
This gets creepier every time. I love it.
Yeah. By the way, for those of you who are tuning into this show, that's my dog.
No, it's
We're
your
talking.
prisoner. Don't
He's a
try
dog.
to deny it. Stryker,
All right.
lead us forward, please.
I think it. Okay.
Wait.
Did Phil? Did you already go for your number 3?
Yeah, it was Prince of Persia.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's right. That's right. We talked about it for so long, I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3, Uncharted.
Fuck yes.
Okay.
God, I did not remember games at all.
I had a hard time with it. Too. But the Uncharted series was like the first thing that came to my mind when we were coming up with this list. I fucking love every single one of the Uncharted
Me
games.
too. Me too. And let's just say this. Let's just say this.
I like.
Okay.
Say what?
Okay.
No.
All right. Are you gonna finish, Phil?
Are you okay?
Yeah, well, I was gonna let you finish.
I was just
But
gonna say
anyway,
let's throw it out there. 3 is the best one.
I think.
I actually agree with that.
I think
I
we're
think
the
3 is the
only
best one.
3 people in the world that do.
Yeah.
But
Everyone else says too, and
Yeah.
you know when I played and finished 3, I thought in my head that was the best one.
Yes.
Having remembered pretty fondly number 2.
The big. I think the reason people like 2 better is because it was a massive change from 1.
Yeah, I agree.
One was a great game. 2 was fucking phenomenal, and 3
I never finished 1.
it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
You fight
Really
blue Nazi zombies, and it was great. They were all great games, but the jump from 1 to 2 was so monumental. The jump from 2 to 3 didn't feel as big, even though I felt it was a much more character driven.
Yeah. The part with
That's what I
him
think.
is
That's what I feel.
Yeah,
the part with him as a kid, and the part
Exactly.
where you're just stranded in the desert.
yes.
Like that,
God
that shit is
damn,
great.
And the
That-
fucking
I loved
when
it.
you're in the sinking ship, and it's like
Oh,
getting
hell yeah.
tossed around. Fuck.
But
There's so many. Yeah.
Jumping from
the series.
fish boat.
This series is just outstanding. The characters are all relatable and likable. The story is, it's not. The stories themselves, they're not outstanding, but they're not trying to be
I think they're fine. I think
they're great. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
great for what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I
And
think they're
that's
good. Indiana Jones trekking
Yes.
stories.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't even need to talk about the technical details.
Oh yeah,
They're
absolutely.
masterpieces in that
Yes.
regard.
Yes.
But I love them so much. I hold them so fondly, and I think they're incredible games. The series is amazing, and I love everything about it. The gameplay, the platforming, the levels, and the fact that they're so epic. I mean,
Yes, they are.
There's so many memorable parts in those games that you can pick out and think of, and I just think they're.
I think
fantastic.
that whole airplane desert scene in 3 was one of the best scenes in video games that I can think of ever.
I agree. And I think that same way about just the opening part of 2, climbing up the.
Oh
train.
yeah, that literally had me on the edge of my seat, I was short of breath.
Mm-hmm.
That was so effective, so well done, so cinematic, and Nolan North's performance is really, really good and believable with Nathan Drake.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps. It makes him a real likable guy, even though he's the worst serial killer that we've ever known as a human race.
What?
So, huh?
Nolan North is a serial killer?
Oh, absolutely.
no,
No,
Drake.
Nolan North.
Okay, yeah, Drake is. You're talking about how Drake kills a lot.
I'm talking about how Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're all
has-
bad guys. Who gives a fuck?
I guess. Yeah, they're still humans though. They
Yeah,
still have
I
families.
think it's funny, and I know a few people that bring up that argument. I just don't understand how he could just go on killing a bunch of people.
I
and
don't give a
it's-
fuck about it. It's
It's a fucking action game.
That
trying
Ludo,
to tell.
Yeah.
Like, that's
it's
just
like,
bullshit.
yeah, it's like that Ludo narrative dissonance and that kind of stuff. It's way more prevalent in some games, but Uncharted, it doesn't matter to me. It's like,
Well, let's look at it this way: you watch a Indiana Jones movie for 2 hours. 2 hours.
yes,
Now it's a contained story in Indiana Jones' life, and he kills quite a few people in it.
yeah,
You stretch that out over an Indiana Jones story that maybe takes like 10 hours, like a game. He's probably going to kill a lot more people, right?
exactly.
It's fucking. It's the same kind of thing.
Exactly,
It's
yeah.
just a stupid argument.
Yeah, I don't in that series. I don't agree with that argument.
I don't either.
So, but yeah, those games, man, I'm really excited for 4.
Oh, I can't wait.
I really,
I like how they really seem to have given him the weight of age. They
Yeah,
seems to
I
have
like
grown
that
a lot
too. I
older.
like he's more grizzled and older, and I like that they just came out and said right away they're like, it's gonna still be the lighthearted Uncharted
Yeah.
series you love.
yeah, I don't want to down like a depressing
Yeah.
Uncharted.
There's
Yeah.
a place for that. There's a franchise for that, but Uncharted not so much.
Yeah,
agree.
Uncharted needs to remain a romp, as one
Right.
might say.
So, River, what is your number 3?
Let's fucking get this one out of the way, guys. I think we all knew it was coming.
Oh, here we go.
Final Fantasy.
Yes.
All right, bro.
What can I say that I haven't already said in every episode? Let me start by saying I've played to completion 1 through 10.
That's impressive. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I finished all of them. I never finished 10-2, never got close to finishing 12, and we all know how I feel about 13. So, 9 is possibly my favorite game of all time. Everything about it, the characters, the love story, the world, and it's just it's one of the most. It's for me, it is the most. It has a Disneyland quality. Like it's so fantastical and so well realized and fleshed out, and there's such personality to it that it really it makes me so. And like every time, I still like there are certain scenes in that game where I will cry every time, and I like without a doubt. There's some scenes that I just think are so moving and like.
Dude, don't be a pussy.
Sorry, man. Fuck. Shit. I gotta get swole now. That being said, like I love all of those games. I really like 8. I think all the arguments against it are absolute bullshit. And fuck you if you doubt me.
Well, I want you to tell me some of the arguments that have been made against 8, since I've never heard any of them. I've
Are
heard
you
people
serious?
bash on 9. I've heard people bash on 9, but not 8.
Who the fuck bashes on 9? 9 is like one of the most highly regarded Final Fantasies ever.
Well, anyway, just emphasize what do people have to say about 8? I want you to stand up for this. Tell me.
What did you want me to stand up for? What they said, or?
Well, I mean, no. I want you. What I want to hear is this is new to me.
You seriously never heard people
read-
complain about 8? 8's like
No.
8 is the most hated Final Fantasy by a long shot.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy, but
Specifically, one of the things. So there's a couple of standout arguments against Final Fantasy VIII. One being the battle and draw system, because people did not understand the way that the game works. They thought so in other games, in other Final Fantasies, you can learn spells, right? And they use MP, which is a replenishable, catch-all for your magic. And you just learn these spells, right? You learn Fire and Fyra, and then you just knew them. In 8, there was no way to. There was no. you did not learn the spells; you drew them from enemies, right? So, and it was random, and it took a long time. So you're in battle, and you select draw. You do no damage, and you might gain 1 fire, or you might gain like 11. It was always random, and people hated that. But the thing that they didn't understand is if you took the time to learn the refine abilities from your GFs or your summons, you could refine magic like mad from the items that enemies drop, and they're always dropping items, and every item in the game refines into a certain spell at a certain quantity. And so I can pretty much and then another thing people didn't like was the junctioning system, because your stats as a if you were to not junction, your stats don't really do much when you level up. So a lot of people said that, and part of it is leveling up in that game is rather inconsequential, and people didn't like that, because you can kind of really fucking break that game really early on with a junction system. So the way that it works is that each stat, strength, dexterity, vitality, all that kind of stuff, hit points, can have magic junctioned on them, and that will augment the stats. Yeah. It's okay. It's all right. That will augment the stats, in a positive way. So, like fire junctions really well to strength, and the more you have a fire, the higher a thing will get. So, within like 50 minutes or an hour of a Final Fantasy VIII playthrough, I can be doing like 3,000 damage. And so you can trivialize that game a lot. Another thing that people said is that the story was bullshit, and it wasn't. It was like a high school drama, and it wasn't like a final. It wasn't a fantasy game. It was kind of really modern and military, and a lot of people.
Well, I feel like it kind of relates to 7 a bit, even though 7 has more of a
7 and 8 are sort of akin to each other. They are industrial and modern and that kind of thing.
I feel like 7 is dingier and post-apocalyptic, and 8 is clean and it is.
You're right.
Yeah, and I thought they were interesting contrasts to another, and I liked the fact that it went in that direction.
I fucking love 8. 8's probably my second favorite.
How often do you get to see a fantasy setting set in with a modern day timeline?
Yeah, it's. I think that game is inspired. A lot of the choices that they made are questionable, I guess, but I like them. So that's cool. And a lot of people didn't like the story, so they wrote ridiculous theories like Squall. Philip, have you read the Squall is Dead theory?
No, I haven't read the Squall is Dead theory.
Let me tell you something. You've beaten 8, right?
I've seen the ending.
Okay. Have you? How much do you remember of the story?
Okay. Well, I know that Rinoa, Squall falls in love with Rinoa.
Yes.
And I know that
That's
the
an
end,
incredibly small portion of the story.
Yeah. Okay. But just basically, what I remember is in Rinoa, she's.
Okay.
She's
do you remember do you remember at the end of Disc 1 when Squall is impaled by ice shards?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, there's an argument out there that he dies there, and the rest of the game, the 3 discs, are his brain firing its last neurons, and he is dreaming of what could have happened.
It's a little bit intense there. It's a little bit much.
It's fucking stupid, and you know why people do it? Is because they don't like the way the story goes. The main emphasis for this theory is that the game has a very real setting, and like there's not much like fantasy in the first disc, and then it goes off the tracks with like weird fantasy stuff. And what I have to say to you is, you're fucking casting spells and summoning guardian forces. Fuck you. Like, that's a stupid...
Phil?
No. Yeah, well, Phil. But, like, anyone who says It's just a cop out. It's like it's the, I don't know.
Wait, the story or the theory?
The theory. The
Yeah,
theory that Squall
you know
is dead
what?
is just a fucking stupid cop out from people who don't like the way the story goes and the way it's told. So
Well, they made the story seem even dumber. If they're not happy with the way the story is, they just made it worse.
do you think that makes it worse? I think it does too, but I mean,
Well,
yes.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
keep
yeah, I
setting
mean,
up
like
for something
Yeah.
and then not finishing.
It's really
No,
stressing
I
me
just
out.
simply said they just made it. I mean, it sounds like if they didn't like the story and they didn't like its ideas, they come up with an even dumber idea.
Yeah, I think it's
patch it,
I
no?
always thought it was bullshit. It's like, no, he's not dead. It's a fucking Final Fantasy game. Get used to weird things happening. I don't know. I hate that shit. So, I also want to talk to you more about what the fuck were you talking about that Sephiroth is a mannequin or a avatar? Yeah.
It's
Explain this shit
complicated.
more to me. I don't care. Let's go
I
into
need
this.
I need to watch the video.
Fuck!
I need to watch very well broken down. Very.
God damn it.
It's called The Completionist, and it's very cool. And
Fuck. Okay.
guy who's a
Whatever.
part of the show, he's played through and completed like 500 games.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, there's something happening. He's it's not actually Sephiroth. It's an avatar of Sephiroth, and he's projecting his.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Sorry. That's totally true. Because I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember.
you know what I'm talking about.
I don't
That's
know
what
if you
I'm
remember near the end of the first disc, you find the actual Sephiroth
Yeah.
frozen
He's in like a
inside
frozen-
of materia.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I didn't
Yeah.
remember I didn't. Okay.
That's what I was
Makes
trying
sense.
to say.
That's Final Fantasy. I love all of them. Fuck 13. 14 was fun. It was an MMO though. The music's great. I listen to the music outside of playing the
I have
games.
some of it on my iPod right now.
Good. What's your favorite soundtrack? What's your favorite Final Fantasy
Damn.
soundtrack? There is
I
a
mean-
correct
I mean,
answer to this, by the way.
That's tough, man. That's tough because I have a little bit of everything, and I have mostly the symphonic versions,
Yes.
the orchestrated versions.
Yes.
I mean, I guess either. I mean, I'm torn between the main theme of Final Fantasy VI and Final Fantasy VII.
I'm going to tell you something. 8 has the best music.
Okay, that's very valid.
Yeah. Goddamn right it is. Yeah, that music is fucking great. If you haven't yet, you should check out the piano collections, Philip. Go on YouTube and search Final Fantasy piano collections. They are solo piano renditions of
The Oath. The Oath.
Yes,
from Final
the
Fantasy
fucking
VIII.
Oath.
That's
That is one of
Yes.
the greatest pieces of music that Final Fantasy has ever. And the scene where that is played when everyone's downtrodden and you take the stance as the leader and give one of the best speeches ever written in a game, and kind of bring up the morale of your classmates and comrades and stuff. It's a goosebump, and I always get goosebumps in that scene. So right before this huge fucking war and everyone is hurt and bleeding, and you're the reluctant leader, as cliched as it is, giving this really impactful speech, and that music just is the icing on the cake. So that's Final Fantasy.
Right.
We talk a lot about Final Fantasy on this show. Let's go on. Philip, hit me with your
Okay.
number 2 fucking game series.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I was gonna do. I meant to
All
put Mass
Sega
Effect-
games.
What? All Sega games?
I have a feeling at some point our lists are going to cross paths, and probably at the 2 or 1 spot.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna give me shit for the Rockstar thing and the paintball thing too. That's
What
That's
paintball
the new
thing?
thing.
We haven't talked about paintball yet on this
We're
podcast.
talking about
no.
Speak on it.
Yeah, speak on it, girl.
All right. Okay. So anyway, what I was gonna say was I wanted to put Mass Effect somewhere.
Okay.
Yay!
Yay.
Yeah. I forgot to do that. I was going to say Resident Evil, right?
So what are you
But,
saying, Resident Evil or Mass Effect?
No, I'm actually just going to swap Resident Evil for Mass Effect because I have a lot of fond memories of Resident Evil, but Mass Effect has more of a place in my heart than Resident Evil does.
Yeah.
You know, and what you were saying about I think it was Prince of Persia and how much it meant to you.
I think it was Uncharted.
Yes.
But Prince
Uncharted. Okay, well that inspired me. You know, that I decided, you know, Mass Effect means a lot more to me than Resident Evil does. And I can just remember when I first got it, and you can see the flaws in the first game now when the lower eyelids always go up. But I was so blown away by the graphics. I mean, yeah, it gave me this sense of, I can't believe this game is finally in my hand. You know, and I felt like the hype was what I heard of it. It was completely paying off to me. You know, and it's made by the same guys that did KOTOR. Yeah. And, you know, I love it's kind of a common thing now, but I really do love the path of the game is determined by your decisions concept. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think, one of the franchises that expresses it, that uses it the best, is the Mass Effect franchise. The second one actually being my favorite. I think the second one is the strongest. Taken a lot of Yeah,
I love the second one.
I think the campaign might take some flack for the fact that if you want to get the best ending where the most people live, you have to go off and do all these side missions revolving around the character's past.
And those were the best missions, so people shouldn't bitch about them.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree.
The loyalty missions,
you don't have to yell at us.
I so agree with
the loyalty missions in those games were the best parts, the best missions in those games.
You know
so
what?
People who didn't want to fucking do them can eat a dick straight up.
Yeah, but you know what? That makes it's the most character-oriented game.
Yeah.
The franchise. I loved it, you know?
I vastly enjoyed Mass Effect. They didn't quite capture me as much as they captured a lot of people, and I don't know quite why that is. I mean, I had I probably dumped like 200 hours into the series as a whole. You know, between 1, 2, and 3.
As a space opera, I mean, I prefer it over Star Wars. I mean, I prefer it over Star Trek. Oh. I mean, I think it's probably one of my favorite space operas. And I'm not a huge Star Trek guy.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you fucking are.
It's my favorite. I think it's one of my favorite space operas.
I don't think Commander Shepard is a very good character.
Well, I mean,
I think that's probably one of my main gripes about it. Is
I
maybe
understand that.
That's why I never got captured by it, because I felt like I was playing a blank slate of a human.
I think
game.
He's a borderline away from being like something out of Skyrim, you know, and I understand that.
I think that part of the problem with that is because they make him a customizable character.
Yeah.
They almost try to make him a little dry so that he doesn't fit into one archetype.
Exactly.
So that it's singling out. Like, I want him to be this way. I want him to be this way. So instead they make him kind of dry. So,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that was one of I think the main points keeping me from really getting lost in those games.
See, and I wonder with that game telling such an emotional story if it would have just been best to have him be just some guy, just a voice actor, a specific person,
just be an actual character,
model, be an actual character.
Yeah, I mean that's why I care. That's why I care about the games that I care most about, as in Final Fantasy, as in Uncharted. Yeah. Those all have really defined characters with their, you know, that are the developers just say, "Fuck it, this is who you're playing as."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can still make choices inside of having, you know, a set character. You can still make choices that alter the game. But I think having such a dry character and, in my opinion, bland, really detracts from at least my immersion, especially when he's surrounded by all these really interesting characters.
Yeah.
The
I
supporting-
can completely understand
Yeah.
that. I've never thought about
Yeah.
it that way, but that's true.
But yeah, I understand where you're coming from, River, because like I said, he's a borderline away from being the customizable character you play as in Skyrim.
Mhm.
So but I think that they kind of made a slight improvement on him in 3. They kind of the voice actor gave him some more.
I felt that way too. I felt
Yeah.
that he was the most full of life in
Exactly.
3.
Exactly.
He had more emotion in 3 than I ever. He got mad sometimes, and
Ooh, that's scary.
yeah, no, you don't want to fuck with Shepard, man. So, well, that's cool.
And should acknowledge that. I mean, the female Shepherd, and she's got quite a following as well.
Oh, FemShep, people love
Yeah.
FemShep. I've
Yeah.
never
FemShep.
FemShep
So anyway,
in the
That's
motherfucking. She's from Compton. Anyways,
Mass Effect, really, I feel like a really enriched universe with a lot of
it's
interesting
very, and
characters
that's
to
something
interact
that
with.
BioWare does incredibly well is create universes, and and that fucking codex
Yes.
has books worth of information, and it's all
Yeah.
it's all
No kidding.
copacetic.
It's all
with-
really well fleshed
yes,
out.
exactly, yeah. So
And I honestly, I'm over the ending of the 3rd game. It is what it is.
I don't think
River-
it's that bad. I don't
Yeah,
think it's that
you don't
bad.
have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it anymore either. I think that the best climaxes were in the first 2, but I mean the ending of the 3rd game is fine.
It's fine. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, very
So, yeah.
fucking cool. Why isn't Banjo-Kazooie in your list, Philip?
I don't know, man.
I
'Cause
just
never
told
played
you all about Banjo-Kazooie, and it's still not on your list, man. It's pissing me off. I'm getting real PO'd.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'll take it out on my prisoner here for you.
Oh, great.
Great. He's gonna scratch his
He's
belly.
resting his snout on my leg.
Oh, that's adorable and creepy.
You sewed a snout on him.
He's just
Yeah.
an experiment at this point.
He's a Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh,
Phil.
fuck. Striker, number 2.
All right, number 2 on my list. This one, I'm guessing.
Well,
is gonna
I'm
be
shocked. I'm shocked that we haven't crossed over at this point.
Yeah,
We will. This
I
is the
did
one-
think about one franchise
Jesus, Phil.
to cross over.
Why are you yelling at us?
I'm not,
You did for a second there.
Yeah, for a second you got.
but it was an enthusiastic yell.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, no.
So this is where it crosses over right here.
Okay. All right.
Number 2, Metal Gear Solid.
Fuck.
Mm.
Yep, that's it.
So
Let's just. I'm
Okay.
yes,
well,
because
I'm
that.
going to just say number 1, Metal Gear Solid.
Okay. Well, yeah. Let's just
For
talk
me.
about Metal Gear Solid because Metal Gear is on here too for me. So
yes, I figured it would be on
Yep.
the list. Now, Metal Gear Solid series, we're
we're also at an hour 20. So
yeah,
we're
we all
running
love
kinda
it. Every game has different qualities that are all amazing. They are
Yes.
outstanding
Uh-huh.
quality. They do their own thing. They do it very well. They're not afraid of trying something different and not following the trend.
Mm-hmm.
And they just consistent quality. Every game in the series you anticipate and you never know exactly what you're going to get. It's full of mystery. The stories are crazy, but they're great.
Let me say something because I said this before and I felt
Yes.
like it didn't get a lot of traction with you guys. Metal Gear Solid is an anime.
I can understand that.
It is an anime.
It's a
Yeah.
it's a Japanese
It is.
story.
It is so like. Especially, I was playing Metal Gear Solid 4, and I realized this even more. Like that shit is so off the hook, and like when Meryl's unit, you first meet their unit. There's always these weird like presenting camera angles, like they do in animes. Like when someone meets someone and they like pose for the camera.
Yeah.
That kind of shit is in there. Like the whole team is like poses for the camera, and there's Akiba with his pants halfway down, like not no. It's just shitting his pants and fucking sucking, and it's just that game, like the fucking crying scene where.
Oh god.
Where Otacon is crying over Naomi on the screen. That is something so melodramatic that you'd see in an anime. Like the more
it's very
and more,
much
the more and more I think about this, at surface level these games seem like just really weird, like cool, military espionage things. But this game is just a fucking anime.
Mm-hmm.
And
Otacon's a little bitch.
Yeah, he is. Fucking Otacon.
I like Otacon, but
he's a bitch though. He's a super bitch. I mean, the first time you see him, he pisses his pants.
Well, I mean, what would you do if a cybernetic ninja approached you?
I wouldn't piss my pants. No,
I'd run, but
I'd fucking run and cry. I try to do Phil, I piss my pants till a very old age. And it's humiliating, and I'll do whatever I can to not do that. So if a cybernetic ninja comes up, I would run and I would throw up profusely, like a lot. But man, I don't think I would piss my pants. And then he goes, "It's just like in one of my animes."
Yeah.
What? Like he's a fucking bitch. So.
Yeah,
Sunny is cool though.
Sonny's cool.
Sonny's way cool.
She
I really
makes
like
eggs,
that.
Right?
She fucking sucks at making eggs, but she's adorable as shit. And she brings I don't know if you guys remember the first scene, like when you're in the that flying command center that you do between mission prologues. But she makes Snake some eggs and brings him a cigarette on the plate as well. And I don't know. It was just whatever. It was just a scene that I liked. Anyways, but yeah, the characters, I mean, there's such a rich story, and like those characters have become so what's the word? Ingrained in that story that you really care about even the villains.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like I want to know what's up. Like I think there's not a single character that I wouldn't say that has returned in a game that I wouldn't say is interesting.
Yeah, and they all have different shades of good and bad and motivations,
yes.
And that's what I like about it. It's not just like these are the good guys, these are the bad guys. I mean, even the character of Big Boss slowly descends into being a terrible villain.
Yeah, I mean
because he gets fucked over by his government.
By fucking everyone.
And in a way, in the end, it kind of turns out in a similar manner. I mean, Liquid Ocelot and everyone on the Nomad, they have similar motivations. Mm-hmm. Only the difference is, you see, Snake and Otacon, they want liberty. And Liquid Ocelot, Liquid, whatever, they want anarchy to come from what their goal is. Mm-hmm. And they have two perspectives of what the outcome will be, and that's the one defining thing that separates the two.
I really wonder. So go on.
I was just gonna say, the scene at the end of 4 where Solid Snake meets Big Boss is one of the greatest scenes in video game history.
I got goosebumps during when it begins with like a classical guitar thing. Do 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 do.
God damn it, Philip! Every fucking episode you do this, and it's my favorite thing. No, dude. You love it. Off! I fucking love it. I'm not saying shit. I'm just saying it's the goddamn greatest thing we have going.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, trying to shut my dog up.
Yeah,
trying to shut my prison up.
But yeah. That's never a good thing to hear if you're a prisoner.
When you're trying to shut someone up,
puts the lotion on its skin, also.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
No. Anyway, so back to that final fight scene at the very end.
Okay.
Not a fight scene, just them meeting.
Yeah.
in a graveyard.
Yeah, them meeting, but I do like the slow build up with the music and.
I have a couple things to say. First, I don't remember the scene in particular that you are referencing. I remember it happening. I don't remember anything about it. That being said, didn't Snake meet Big Boss in Metal Gear already?
Yes.
Was that referenced in 4?
Oh, yes.
Because I think a lot of the time, I think it's becoming, or at least it has become increasingly hard if you are considering, and they definitely are considering those Metal Gear and Snake's Revenge canon, to weave these crazy fucking stories into each other and remain.
They don't really. They don't really say whether or not they are. They aren't really disregarding the Metal Gear games. Like it's not. They don't ever reference that it's their first time meeting.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Okay.
They don't ever say that it didn't happen or that it did. They just go from there. They're basically talking about Big Boss's motivations and stuff.
Okay.
And before I continue with that, I want to say something about the continuity. But Stryker, were you talking about the fight scene between Liquid Ocelot and Old Snake before, or
where it changes graphic styles?
No, that's amazing too. I'm talking about when Solid Snake and Big Boss meet in the cemetery.
Okay, so that's where I was off confused. So yeah, first of all, I loved that scene, and it was so utterly gratifying. I will say that I think
it's also correct me if I'm wrong. It's the graveyard is littered with the same flowers that Big Boss killed Boss in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
so Big Boss Snake is meeting with Big Boss in in kind of a same setting that Big Boss faced the boss in. And so that's
it just all comes full circle
it's very that's goddamn.
Well, to go along with what you said about the fight scene with Liquid on top, where that changes graphical styles and music and stuff, I would say that you could also argue that scene is one of the best scenes because it's almost like it's just bringing everything back forward.
Well, they do that on Shadow Moses too. When you at the start of Act 4 in Metal Gear Solid 4. How it's you literally play the intro to Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yes.
I didn't know that they were going to do that.
No one did. It blew my fucking mind. So,
and you go under the thing and get his old gun.
Yes.
Oh man.
So one last thing I have to say. I wonder. I don't see how they can not have Dave Hayter in Phantom Pain. I really think they're going to pull a fast one.
I'm getting to the point now where I think less so than I did early on.
Really?
From some of the stuff David Hayter has said in response to that. But part of me still wants to believe that they're trying to pull a fast one.
What has he said?
He's just said that it's not that. Basically, he just come out and said that's not going to happen. For all you people that think it is, I would like that, but it's just not. Basically, it's not. That isn't the truth.
Yeah, I don't know. They could just be
trying
to pull the wool over our eyes. Because that's something that I could see Kojima definitely doing.
I would love
even if it isn't the case. Even if it isn't the case, I mean, I hear that Kiefer Sutherland's a complete nightmare. If he let's say he fucks up really bad, and Kojima's just like, okay, we'll just bring David Hayter back.
I didn't like anything in Ground Zeroes that I heard of Kiefer Sutherland. It just felt forced to me. I don't know. There wasn't a whole lot of dialogue though, so.
Yeah, give it a chance. I thought it was fine, but I can understand.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think it was okay, but at the same time, I just like David Hayter. To me is if they are going to have
guy. I mean, that's the character.
Solid Snake in the game, then of course it would make sense to have both guys voiced by the same guy.
But the thing is, in 3, it was fucking Dave Hayter, and that's the same character.
Well, exactly. But I'm just saying, if they're both going to be in the game together, it's just going to be kind of weird for
Amazing.
David Hayter to voice both people against himself.
Yeah.
It'd be
you
weird.
may as well
That's
just
true.
like deal
You
with
think
that
Solid
sort
Snake's
of
going to be in Phantom Pain?
consistency.
Well, the timeline, if the timeline is what we think it is, and there's not something weird going on, then it would make sense that he would make an appearance.
Yeah,
A really
okay. You're
young
right.
Solid
You're
Snake.
you're
He
super
would-
right.
He would be very young, but
Well, I mean, that's Metal Gear 1 is storming Outer Heaven and
yeah, exactly.
killing Big Boss. So
A lot
But
of
it does take
people-
place in. I don't think it takes place in the 80s though. Metal
It
Gear
does
1.
take place in the 80s.
Yes.
Oh, Metal
It
Gear
does.
1. Are you talking
Yeah.
about Metal Gear 1? That
Yeah.
I'm not sure of. It's later on. It's in the 90s.
yeah,
It's in the early 90s. I'm
Well,
pretty
anyway, I mean, it's pretty safe to conclude that Eli is Liquid Snake. I mean, come on, he's probably Liquid Snake.
I mean, come
Yeah.
on, he's
It's
probably
safe
Liquid
bet.
Snake. Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid, hot damn.
Metal Gear Solid 3 was the first game that was the first game that I cried to.
Metal Gear Solid 3, best ladder in video gaming.
Oh man,
There's
No
no
doubt.
better ladder.
there's
name
no
a,
better
Name
ladder.
a single better ladder in video games.
I
You
can't.
fucking can't because there's not one.
What's your number 2, River?
My number 2. Well, shit. I think my number 2 was. I think I was going to say Metal Gear. So I have one
Well, I guess
left.
we can take it off all of our lists since we just talked about it. So I guess now we can.
Yeah,
skip.
I'm done. Then.
We can just. You're done, Philip. You're done. You can.
Yeah, that
You
was
can.
fun.
You can hang up now. We don't need you anymore. So
All right, I'll go back into my box.
thanks.
Phil, I can actually picture you sneaking around in a box.
I can too. Huh? It's just a box.
Huh?
So I guess we're on number 1 now, huh? Aren't we?
We're number 1.
My last choice. Why don't you go?
Me?
Yeah.
I want to hear yours.
Okay. That's fine.
I'm really
I'm just having trouble.
Well, okay. Well, then I'll go. If you want to think about
Yeah.
a little bit of time, okay.
Because
That's fine.
I mean, I feel even though. So okay, I mean, I can just say it. It's not enumerated though. Just hold this in mind that this does not mean since it's the last one I'm saying that it is my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, fuck, man. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. Metal Gear Solid actually wasn't on my list because I completely forgot about it.
Shit.
Yeah. So I had 2 others planned, but I'm bumping. I'll bump one off. I was gonna say Halo, and I'm gonna bump that one off.
Okay.
And I'm gonna keep Zelda.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one that makes the most sense to me, and I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I figured that would be on your list.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll say Zelda, and what can I really say? Like, they're timeless.
Mm-hmm.
They are, every single one of them is just well, no, not every single one of them, because the last 2 I've not really enjoyed, but up to Wind Waker, have just been. They have the same quality as Final Fantasy games for me in that I can play them infinitely. Like, I can go back through Majora's Mask time and time again and still have the same amount of enjoyment with it. And I'm probably the only one that's actually really played a lot of Zelda out of us 3, aren't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, and it's just the sense of adventure. Like I remember the first time Ocarina of Time came out, and when you think about it, it's kind of has the same quality that Grand Theft Auto 3 did, because you are.
Yeah.
It is this open world with cities and things that you can go explore and side quests to unlock and things to do. Mm-hmm. And it's just the sense of adventure in these games are unparalleled, really.
And you think of Ocarina of Time compared to the Zelda that came before it, which was, I believe, was it A Link to the Past?
It was A Link to the Past, yeah.
Which, I mean, if you take that jump into account,
Yeah.
that's a huge
It's fucking enormous. And, like, that game totally stands the test of time. You play it now, it's just well designed. All the puzzles, all the dungeons. It's so ingrained. So, do you guys know the Master Quest version? It was released on with Wind Waker. If you bought Wind Waker like limited edition or pre-ordered it, you got a bonus disc that had
I've heard
a
of it.
remixed version of Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, I've
Called
heard of
Master
it.
Quest. It had 2 additional dungeons, and all the dungeons that remained were remixed.
That's cool.
And so the game is
really, I didn't know that. I thought it
Yeah.
was just a re-release.
no, they are different. And so I've played this game so many times. I can usually finish dungeons in like sub 5 minutes. Like I just know what to do because they're not huge. If you know exactly what takes them so long, why you're in these dungeons and temples for hours, is because they are so complex and so like it's just a huge puzzle, right?
Yeah.
So, but I can run certain dungeons in like under 5 minutes, and especially like the first couple. And I not recently, but maybe a year and a half ago, started Master Quest on an emulator, and I got to the first dungeon, and I got about 3 rooms in, and I spent 4 hours on a single room that you clear in no less than 10 seconds in the original one, and it was just the solution wasn't even that hard. My brain physically couldn't conceive it because it was so stuck on the way that I've always solved that. It was a really weird experience because when I finally... It was one of the most, like, jaw-dropping experiences because when I finally figured out what you had to do, it was so incredibly simple, and I had missed it for, like, 4 hours. It was really weird. And so I actually never
Let me
finished...
ask you this.
Yeah.
Which one in the series would you say was your favorite? I know that's probably really hard to answer. It doesn't have to be like to say this one is better than the other, but just to say which one you hold the highest. Maybe which one at the time that you enjoyed the most, or
Okay, well, if we're going at the time that I enjoyed the most, I think I've had the most initial fun with Wind Waker, because I was at the perfect age for it. When Ocarina of Time came out, I was a little young and had a lot of trouble actually playing the game effectively. I had to have my older brother do a lot of the puzzles for me, and I kind of got to a point where someone else had beat the game for me. I just had everything unlocked and went around and explored and stuff. But Wind Waker, I was like 14 or 15. I was a lot better at games, and I could had a lot better problem solving, so I could play the game and experience it for myself. And I think that's why I hold Wind Waker so dear, is because that's kind of like the first Zelda that I ever really played start to finish without anyone doing puzzles for me or something. That being said, in hindsight, I think Majora's Mask is my favorite.
cool.
Majora's Mask is so different. It is the most different than a Zelda game has ever been. A lot of people hate it for that. It's super divisive. Like, the mechanics are so strange and really very specific in the way that the world works and everything. But there's so many... So the way... you guys...
Guess what? There's also a theory that Link died in that one, too.
What?
Yeah.
Are you talking about...
No, there's also a theory that Link in Majora's Mask is dead.
Oh, boy.
Well, Majora's Mask is super dark, so it's very dark. So, I mean, the game takes place over a 3-day period, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they did is they basically took, a pretty small... Like, even the landmass in that game is relatively small compared to other Zelda games. Like, there's not as much to explore. But what they do create is so incredibly dense with side quests and interweaving relationships between people that it just it feels like such a it's thrown around a lot, but a living world. Like, all these people are interconnected and there's different. you learn people's routines because you're seeing the same 3 days over and over again. So you can start, like, there's side quests where you have to learn people's routine and be like, okay, this person's here at this time of day. I need to go do this while they're out or something. And so it's a very dense, thoughtful game, and it's I think it's brilliant. So I think that's probably my favorite in the series. So Wind Waker's no slouch, though. Wind Waker is no slouch. A lot of sailing, which makes me happy. Mm-hmm. And your boat can talk, so that's pretty cool.
Perfect.
Yeah. Skyward Sword is a fantastic game. It's really a weird situation for me because I absolutely don't want to ever play motion controlled video games. But what makes that game? Yeah, right. That was really an accurate sound, man. But what makes that game good is the motion controls. But I don't want to play it because it has motion controls. So it's a tough one for me. It's a very tough one.
Yeah, you probably don't want to play the upcoming one either, do you?
Oh, I absolutely do.
Oh yeah,
because they're going back to just a normal ass controller.
Oh, good.
And
wait, the Wii U is going to permanently just be normal controllers, or is it going to coincide with the motion controllers?
It doesn't. You don't really use. I mean, you do, but not a lot of Wii U games use motion.
No.
They use the screen, but motion. I mean, you can, but it's not a big thing anymore. Wii U, there's a Pro controller that looks like a 360 gamepad, and then there's the actual gamepad for the Wii U, which is just basically a really wide controller. But when you're holding it, it feels like a controller.
Yeah, it feels great.
Yeah, it does feel really good. So, we are at an hour 42. Striker, bring us home, man.
Okay, number one for me is Street Fighter.
Fuck! Right. I knew this was going to be there.
You know what? That is so true to you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Uh-huh. Yep. It's my true number one, I would say.
Yeah.
I love the Street Fighter series. I always have. I love every game for different reasons, or every iteration, and as far as 2, Alpha, 3, and 4.
And 3 Third Strike.
Yes, 3 Third Strike is incredible. They've all been just a huge part of my even that. They've all been a huge part of my life at different times, and I have fond memories of playing each one and having different experiences with it. And I don't even love them just because the mechanics and the fighting and stuff. I actually really enjoy the story and the characters' interactions and stuff like that. Just silly things, and they're not very good stories and stuff like they're kind of silly and outlandish, but I love them.
But there's a lot of fiction there.
There's a ton.
Yeah,
there's a ton of fiction, and I'm probably one of very few Street Fighter players who knows so much of the canon of this.
I don't necessarily think it's bad. Like I really enjoy the animated movie.
Yeah, well, some of them.
Yeah, I've got Street Fighter
Alpha. the one. You know the one.
Yeah, I know the one.
The one with the Chun-Li scene.
Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter...
the movie, yeah. Street Fighter 2, or Street Fighter 2, the movie, or something like that. There's different ones.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called, but
yeah.
I love the game.
I would like to do an episode with you literally breaking down the continuity of the franchise.
That would get pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's super crazy.
But I mean, the little bits of trivia, the nods to other Capcom games and other games in general, the backstory of the rivalry between Capcom and SNK, and just everything about the series as a whole, I love, and I hold it very, very high.
Now, let me ask you a potentially incendiary question. Who's your favorite Street Fighter character?
It's going to be tough, isn't it?
Now, I have a follow-up to this, which is even worse.
Okay, and my favorite Street Fighter character to play as, or just in general?
In general, story to play as, just overall.
I'd probably go with Sagat overall. Okay. That's a hard one, though, because I really, as a character, I really like, obviously, Ryu, and I really like Akuma as a character. but probably overall Sagat.
Okay, Sagat or Terry Bogard?
Ah, fuck. For all you listeners out there, I'm also a huge fan of SNK fighting games as well. I'm going to have to give a slight nod to Sagat.
All right.
Terry Bogard, if you're out there listening, I apologize.
Yeah, better cover our bases.
Yeah.
He's going to fucking throw his code at you.
Yeah, he's going to give me a fucking wolf
Yes.
fist.
Oh, man.
Anyway, that's my number one.
That's a good
and
number
the
one.
music.
Very
I forgot
good.
to mention.
The music's great. The
God,
music
I
is
love it.
super good.
Iconic.
Iconic.
Fucking oh man. Yeah, that's a good number one for you. That is a stellar way to close. So that's that, guys. That is our top 5 video game series. We're done.
We're done.
We don't have to do this
Thanks
anymore.
for listening. Next week, I'm guessing we'll be back to kind of normal.
We'll be back
our
to normal. We'll have a
routine.
special guest. He will be
Phil.
replacing. Yeah, he will be replacing Slaver Phil.
He'll be replacing. Slave driver Phil.
Yeah, he'll be regular Phil. So
Regular Phil.
send us.
Cole
Hey,
Jr.
I wanna shout out. We are doing a giveaway actually right now. We want to get 200 followers on Twitter. So once we get to, this is going to pretty much be running and ongoing until we get to, our goal. And once we get to 200 followers, we are going to randomly select a user who we like the best for whatever reason we want, and we will give you a game of your choice. No, $60 full price game, and we just want to kind of give back, and so go follow us on Twitter. It's at @pixel_chicken, and let's get this going. 200 people is not a whole bunch of people, so go ahead and follow us on Twitter, and like us on MySpace as well. I always forget the fucking URL for that.
Wait, do you mean Facebook?
Yeah, I said MySpace, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. It's all the retro gaming we're talking about. It
Yeah,
brings up
that's true.
Facebook
Holy shit.
for MySpace.
So what is the
it's
Facebook?
Facebook.com/Pixel Chicken Podcast.
Gotcha.
Pixel Chicken Podcast. Yeah.
And send us emails. We'd love to get another one. JD, I know we probably burned you if you're still listening, but we love you. We still love you. And
Well, it's only because it took a very dark
it's
turn.
only because I felt bad about putting that into the world. Email is pixelchickenpodcast@gmail.com. Go ahead and send us any questions, comments, or concerns that you have. I've got a Shadow of Mordor review that we're going to be throwing up somewhere on the internet at some point very shortly, probably to coincide
Probably
with...
not on MySpace.
Probably not on MySpace, but who knows? Maybe.
Ooh.
I really want to get Justin Timberlake's... yay! So that'll be going up probably tomorrow, as well as this episode. So you probably will already be listening to this by now. Anyways, thanks for tuning in and listening to us today. Do we have anything else we want to talk about that's neat or cool?
Go play some
I saw Gone Girl last night.
How was that?
It was good. It had a twisted ending. It goes in a direction that you do not see
You
coming.
better not give me any spoilers.
I'm not going to tell you a thing.
Yeah. Don't tell us anything because I kind of want to see that too. So
Go play Sands of Time, listeners.
yeah, go play Santa Time. Fuck it. Peace.
Oh yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
Philip, give us some kind of random Phil noise.
Deuces.
Uh,